Look at, I just opened the door. Look at the ants. This is the craziest thing I've never seen. There's so many ants in this car. Hey guys, it's Bill, Flatbroke Garage, and we're back with the Falcarino. It's a cool name. Other name suggestions we got was Groot and Gangrene. Those are up there. I think Groot is actually a name owned by a evil mouse corporation in Florida, so I don't know if I can actually use that name or not, but it's cool. Anyways, in the prior video I had mentioned there was a cool story about this car, and it is kind of cool, at least to me. When I put up that the car was sold by Sunset Ford, I did some research. I got a Marty report on the car, and Marty reports are basically Ford records. You can put in a VIN number and they tell you everything about the car, where and when it was built, how many were built in that color, if it's got a purple sun visor. I mean, it's that kind of stuff. But the thing I wanted to know was the car actually sold by Sunset Ford, or was it like a used car, somebody traded it in and they just put their thing on it? So I got the Marty report back, and it is indeed sold by Sunset Ford. I believe it was sold July 17th, 1970. Which is cool. They have the actual day the dealer sold it. So I contacted Sunset Ford and let them know that I actually own a car they sold 52 years ago. They thought, that's cool, you know. And they've been in business, like I said, 110 years, so they sent me some swag. I got a Sunset Ford key tag. I got a cool Sunset Ford t-shirt. Huh? How cool is that? And, of course, what car is not complete without the Sunset Ford license plate thing? So that's cool. Talked to the 4th generation owner, and he was like, that's pretty neat. You know, the car is still on the road. So instead of just getting this car running and driving around here, what if I got it running and driving and brought it back to the dealer that sold it on their 110th anniversary? Now, I don't know if this is going to happen. This car's got a list. I mean, it needs things, like lots of things. First and foremost, remove the fire ants. My God, there's fire ants in here. I mean, they are everywhere. They're in the battery, the seats, the ashtray, the trunk. There's one. I mean, they're everywhere. I'm going to have to just, I got to gut the car. We got to pressure wash it. And, you know, that's another thing. We're going to, like, wash some of the environment off of it and see if there's actually any shine left on this thing. I think there is. It'll come around, but some of the paint's burned off. So I'm going to get it cleaned up and start getting it ready for its, I guess, maiden voyage back from a junkyard to the dealer that sold it. What do you guys think? Am I stupid for trying this? I mean, a lot of those other guys, they drive them all over the world. I mean, one guy, the car was all shot up, and I give him credit, man. He drove that thing all the way back to Texas. Yeah, so this is just 600 miles back to St. Louis. It should make it, but I'm not the luckiest guy in the world, you know? So, I don't know. Let's see what happens, and let's get cleaning on this thing and see if we can get these ants out of here. Oh, my gosh. So, you can see this stuff is, like, it's moss. There's actually moss growing on the car. But look at, there's no rust. That's crazy. I can see where the name Groot would fit with all the moss. So, yeah. Oh, kind of weird lichen thing on the door. And then we got just leaves. Not going to buff out. Roof is good still, but we'll see what happens after we wash it, and definitely not going to buff out. So let's get her clean. So it's time to kind of wash the history off this car, the barnacles and stuff. So we're gonna pull her over and get the pressure washer out and really kind of just blast the history off it, and hopefully the ants, because but the tires keep popping, so I got some tires coming in for it. So I just put a actual original bias ply tire on there. Looks kind of cool. I guess that's how it looked in 1970. Get it pulled over, pressure washer on her, and just and see if there's any shine at all left on this car. Well, at least the parking brake works. Well, as you can see, my buddy gave me some cleaner that, boy, it makes your eyes burn. But I've soaked it down in this cleaner, and I mean, it's kind of getting the stuff off, but I don't know. Well, we've pressure washed, I guess, the top layer of crud off. And I guess that's what kind of preserved it, because it's got layers of stuff. I mean, just layers. So I scrubbed it, I pressure washed it, I treated it, like I said, with chemicals that burn your eyes. I think we're going to have to SOS it. Just get the treated SOS pads and scrub the whole car down. But it does look better. You know, from 40 feet away, it looks like Grandma's car. They found out this is primer. Somebody tried to save the paint, so they primed it. And this primer is blowing off with the pressure washer, as is this primer. I even gave it a little rub here with some wet sandpaper. I'll be able to wet sand all this primer off. I have no idea why the guy primed the quarter panel and the fender. Maybe tried to make it look like a police car. I can't figure it out. It still is pretty clean. I found a rust hole on the fender there. Not big, because these Torino fenders rot out. And it's got the Grandma pull in the garage rub mark. I don't know if you can see it, but when Grandma starts misjudging stuff and she, you know, when she pulls in the garage, it's got a rub mark there. The valance is kind of falling off in the back. And this down here, you tell me how that happened. I have no clue. Like, how can you hook? Like, get in there and hook that piece and bend that out and not mess that up. So, that's a story in itself. So, I'm going to go get me some SOS pads and scrub it up dub again. And hopefully that removes layer number 2 or 3 of the history of this thing. And, we might get to wet sanding and buffing the car. See, there's some paint there, so maybe I can bring it back. I don't know. We'll see. But we'll see what happens. So it got me the old, I don't know, SOS or I think these are Brillo pads from the old dollar store here, and they're working. Really gonna have to buff the car out because the steel wool is just digging in. But I mean, all of this, whatever it is, tree sap or nature or whatever, is soaked into the paint too. So I don't know, there's something kind of satisfying and zen-like about doing this. You know, it's actually see it come off. You know, it's kind of nice. But I don't think you want to sit here and watch me for half a day do this, so I'll show you the finished product once we get her done. Well, it's the next day. Just had time to dry off. Scrub the whole thing with the Brillo pads. Basically like wet sand in the car. The whole car is kind of foggy, wet sanded looking. You can see pretty good in the yellow scratches. But I had to dig into the paint because the tree sap had dug into the paint. I guess we took the top layer off. We're going to put some little buffing on it and see if we can bring some of the color back and get some shine going. You know, funny thing is once you clean it, you start seeing all the weird little dents. Look, the ants are still on this car. I know I'm obsessing about this, but it's just so weird. And in the inside, you wait till we get in there. There's plenty of ants in there too. But anyway, you can see all the little flaws now once it gets clean. You know, like that flaw. But so we're going to buff it out and see if there's still some shine left in the lacquer paint. Well, here's kind of a before and after from one hit with the buffer. It's definitely some life left in the paint. She's got to shine. I mean, you know, like I said, look at just buffed. There's an ant. I know, I'm obsessed. But yeah, she's got some shine. That's just the first run over with a buffer. It's got that weird kind of discoloration spots. The car has not been repainted, but I wonder if it's just sun damaged or not my cup of tea for color, like this tea color, whether they call it ivy mist or something. Not crazy about it, but you know, it's what it was born in, so more dents. I don't know if the camera picks it up, but there's dent there. So yeah, she rubs out. She's got a shine. So we'll just keep going on it and see what we can come up with. Well, I got a lot of the car buffed. You know, it's kind of shiny-ish. But I'm over to this side of the car here, and it's got the high-tech primer. Now, when I pressure washed it, pressure washer took off a fair chunk of this. This guy didn't prep this or do anything. He just painted it. I don't know why, but basically, you can just wet sand this stuff off. It's not too bad. There should be, hopefully, some paint underneath. But, once again, kind of satisfying to get all this stuff off. It just takes time. I read an article in, I think it was Hot Rod Magazine. It was called Paint Archaeology. How they used to find the old lettering at NASCARs and drag cars, and it was just sanding off the top layer by hand, and you could see the old lettering come out. So luckily, like I said, they didn't prep or sand any of this. I don't know why they painted it. Why do you guys think? If you have an idea, just put it down there. I'm curious. You did the quarter He did this fender. Nothing else in the car, you know, that we couldn't have painted that, but no, we got to paint the good fender. Well, there you have it. About 20 minutes, 15 minutes of fat guy sanding on a fender. But I got most of it off. I used a 320 grit. I'm going to move up to a 400 or 600, kind of get those deeper scratches out. But we should be good to buff. Roy approves. Look at, I just opened the door. Look at the ants. This is the craziest thing I've never seen. There's so many ants in this car. Oh my God. We're going to do a little cleaning in here. We did some, when we went to drive the thing, we kind of wiped the seat down. You saw in the other video, the seat is nice. Kind of wipe the door panel down and the dash. Because literally, dude, this thing was crawling with fire. So we're going to start scrubbing some more on this mold and mildew and work our way to the back. Looks like water got in that door panel and kind of blossomed that, and it just ruined that. But other than that, the door panels are perfect. So it kind of sucks. You can clean out in here. I mean, just stuff. It's never ending. So we'll just keep nipping at it. Like I said in the other video, it's like strangely satisfying to see these clean up. I mean, that's nice. I mean, like I said, I really do think we're looking at a low mileage car. Like I said, that's just water damage from sitting, but like your feet would be kicking that, getting in. There's no kick marks or anything. So I got the back seat pulled out, and there is a rodent type creature that did live here. He was busy. Doesn't smell bad though. So chipmunk, I don't know. Probably just a rat or a mouse. They grabbed everything from over here. But look at this, guys. That is the original build tag for this car. It's still in here. You can even read the lettering and the part for the burlap. I have to dig her out and take a look. Well, we had a minor mishap this morning. I went to fire up the old Falcarino and back her up, and the exhaust just rotted off. So I got me a little piece glued in here. Kind of got her up on the air. So I want to show you underneath this car. I mean, this thing is way cleaner than I thought it was. Let me zoom you out here. First off, here's the rockers. You can see, of course, where I didn't wash. But the rockers, everything in this car is perfect. There's the front fender. Come under here to the floors. Floors are nice. Got a bit of a translite leak. Yeah, there's my broken exhaust. Got to get that hung back up. But here's some more of the floors. These are the rear floor pans. I mean, like all the nuts and bolts came off. I mean, the hangers came apart. Here's spring mounts. I mean, there's no rust on anything. I mean, for a unibody Ford, this would be Mustang, Falcon, Torino. I mean, man, this thing is nice. I wish this car was a two-door. I really do. But I mean, it's good. It's a four-door. We're gonna save it. We're gonna drive it. It's gonna be a grocery getter thing. They had air shocks on it, pretty high tech. These Torino springs tend to sag out a bit, so I can see why they did that. But yeah, just had to show you the rockers and the floors. I mean, they are just so lucky. Here's the torque boxes. I guess we got, no, it's not a hole. But there's some rust, a little bit of rust, whatever that bracket is. But I mean, wow. Super nice, super happy. You can see what a crappy job I did buffing it too. Well, I just want to give you a look under, see what it's like. Kind of my first view too. Well, first oil change. It's full, it's black, but got it run up to temperature, sloshed everything around. It's not milky, that's the key. She's just dirty. So we'll throw some high mileage oil in there, and you know, maybe that'll help that lifter pump up. I don't know, we'll see. Here we are so far. Car's cleaner, smells better, less ants, and next step is mechanical. We're going to have to take care of the fuel system, obviously, because the boat tank isn't going to work. Brakes, huge plus in the mountains. I have been moving it with a parking brake, but, you know, let's face it, we need brakes. Tires, shocks, sway bar links. I mean, all the running gear stuff is dry. Basically, everything rubber or flexible needs to be replaced. Wipers don't work. Like I said, fuel tank, alternator, barely charging. Radiator leaks bad, so I need a radiator. Wiring sketchy-ish. But I do want to get it going. I want to get some test miles on it around here. I want to get it up to temperature. Come back. I should go at least do a compression test on the engine, check oil pressure, fix a trans leak. It's got a trans leak somewhere. It's probably just a dry rotted O-ring from sitting in the dirt. But once all this checks out, I really would like to try and drive it back up to Sunset Ford in St. Louis, Missouri. And like I said, it's about 600 miles here from Tennessee. And it would be cool. It would be cool. I'm not the luckiest guy in the world, but I think she'd make it. Want to thank everybody for viewing and subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. If you want information on where the car came from, I'll put a link to the video somewhere in one of those card things. And that has the contact information, the email to, you know, find out if you want one of these cars, or if you see one of the cars in a video you really like, you can contact Jeff is his name, and he'll get you set up with prices and stuff on the cars. And once again, just thanks so much for watching, guys. I'm truly blown away by how many people watch the video. You must like old Falcarino, or whatever we're going to call it. So thanks so much for watching again. Like I said, from the heart, truly appreciate it. And we'll see you on the next one.